Well, hey parents. Sorry we're jumping on a little bit later than had announced. That is mainly because service just ended downstairs. Obviously, we had an awesome Sunday today, and so I was running up here from down there saying bye to Pastor Brandon and trying to get my family out for some of that yummy Kona ice, which hopefully you guys got to take advantage of that stuff too. But I see right now, Carrie, Stacy, Abby, and then Sherwood Forest. I'm not sure who that is, but welcome. Robin Hood, maybe. Um, and we'll get started. We're going to give some other people a few minutes to jump on with us, and then we'll get started. Get started soon. So we'll give it. We'll give about 3 minutes here. I don't want to waste very much time. So. Hello, Jeff and Letty. Welcome to the Parent Connection via Zoom. First ever Parent Connection
Sorry
on
for
Zoom.
being late.
Hey, that's okay. I was late too. Our service just ended. We went a little bit long today, but it's okay. It was an incredible Sunday. So
Good deal.
yep. So we're just waiting on a few minutes to let some other parents and stuff jump on, just in case they're just either just leaving service or just switching over from watching online as well.
No worries.
Cool. Cool. Let's see. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. Enjoying. We're getting some nice, more fall-y weather this week. If you haven't seen the forecast, there you go. Some exciting things. So I'm excited about that because it makes us feel like football weather, and that starts soon. Some of you guys maybe got to go to some high school football games recently. This past Friday, some high school football games are happening around St. Louis. That's pretty cool. So, it's been about 3 minutes, so I think what we'll do is go ahead and get started. We'll let people jump in whenever they can and ask questions. Feel free to use the chat as we go to ask questions. I'll try to keep my eye on there. I know that everyone's got their video off and their sound muted. I realize for some of you that might mean that your family's like around the table eating lunch, but you're trying to listen in at the same time. I get it. With 3 kids now, things can get a little chaotic. So I appreciate everyone that was able to make the time to be here. This whole meeting is being recorded. So if you have friends who are parents of students who need this information, be sure to share the link with them whenever we post it on Facebook through our student ministry page later, maybe tomorrow morning, and they can get this information as well. Mainly, I wanted to have a parent connection to do what we normally do in the fall and in the spring and connect with y'all, because I realize that you are a very, very important piece of the student ministry. And also, though, we've had some big updates going on. Put out an update and then 2 days later it will change. So I realize how confusing that can be, even though we all kind of are prepared for quick changes throughout. COVID has kind of calibrated us for that. but still it can leave us with some confusion. So if you came today with questions, please, 3 kids are just getting started. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. And, hopefully I can answer those questions if you came with some. If not, make sure that you put it in the chat, and I will try to address those questions as they come as well. So don't want to take up too much of your time. Usually, if we do these in person, I can spend some time just connecting with you guys and different things. But this is different, so hopefully we can make this a little bit quicker than normal. And if you guys are not having lunch so you can be here for the meeting, I definitely want to get you to lunch in time as well. So, Alan and Laura, welcome. Glad that you guys are part of the Parent Connection as well. So, hey, let me pray, and then I'll just start working through some stuff. And as I'm working through, let me know if you have questions, speak up or put it in the chat. And we will try to get some clarity on what the fall is going to look like for students at Gateway. Father, thank you so much for all these families that are here and represented, and thank you for the ministry you've given me to be with students, be present in their lives, but really create opportunities for them to be discipled, Father, for them to grow and take their next steps in you, and for them to understand more about you and know more about themselves, Father. I know that's primarily done through these amazing parents, and so I pray you to encourage them, help them not to experience that as pressure, but to experience it as a calling, as a joy, as a gift, Father. And we pray that our ministry can exist to equip them, to be a toolbox for each one of them, as many of them hopefully have experienced so far and will continue to experience, that we can be a resource here for them of amazing adult leaders, to widen the circle of influence in their kids' life, to be resources of more practical nature, and books and programs and websites and other plenty of other things, Father. And that you'd help us to do that well. So we pray for this semester, that it will glorify you, and that in the midst of COVID, you keep us all safe and healthy. And things about does it. Thank you for Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen. All right. Well, let's get right to it. I wanted to start with I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see it as well. But I wanted to start with the update. The update 2.0. So if you haven't seen that, I'm going to share the link to that in the chat right now. And so you can open it on your screen, or I'm going to share my screen here in just a moment, and you can watch it, just look at it on my screen. Let's see. Here we go. And we'll just kind of work through this and try to see what we can discover together, and what we can hopefully agree on. Well, my computer is not letting me share my screen right now. It's saying I would have to hang up and call back, and I'd rather not do that. So I shared the link with you in the chat. Open that up if you can, or if you've already seen it before, you already know some of this information. But obviously I talked about flexibility in the beginning of it, because I had just 2 days earlier put out an update, and a lot of this didn't nullify what I had said before, but changed much of it, especially for Sunday mornings. So let's talk about Sundays and Wednesdays. Those are our main programs in student ministry. We meet for Sunday morning during the first hour, and Wednesdays, obviously, for youth group in the evening. So let's talk about those really quickly. Sunday mornings, at first we had said we will not be meeting in person for the fall. That's changed. Things have opened up, so that is a good thing. Praise the Lord. I am super, super excited to be able to meet with students during the first hour upstairs in the student center. That place hasn't really been used since March, and that's unheard of in the last, I don't even know how long, I imagine. So really excited to get students back into the student center. That's where where they belong. And I say that in a good way. We try to create a space for them where they will feel like, okay, I belong to this church family. I'm seen, I'm heard, I'm cared about. There's a place for me here. And that is physically the student center. And so excited to fill that back up with students in a way. It's limited capacity, but we'll be meeting in person on Sunday mornings during the first hour. Not start at 9:15 and go till 10 or 10:15 on Sunday mornings. It will be limited because we're still restricted to the 25% per gathering space. And so in there, that's going to be restricted to 20 students. Well, I know that's not ideal. What is good is that we are allowing some students to come and be here, and that is something to be excited about. We will still stream our Sunday morning lesson probably on Zoom for students to jump on and participate that way. I'll have them on a big screen at the back of the room so that I can see them and see if their hands are up asking questions or whatever it might be. But 20 students will be allowed in the room each Sunday based on registration. There will be a separate registration on Church Center that'll open up on Wednesday each week for families to say, okay, I want my student to go to student ministry on this Sunday during first hour. And so basically each week, the first 20 that sign up will be the ones that get to participate that week in person. That's going to be right on the Church Center app. Okay, so if you haven't ever downloaded the Church Center app, it is available for Apple and Android. Just try to show you with my phone here. This right here, that's the Church Center app. Okay, you can get that on the App Store or on Google Play. Basically, if you just first downloaded it, you're gonna have to find Gateway, like find the logo and stuff, and then register it for you. But then you have your home screen here, if I can figure out my left and right, and then you have all these icons on the bottom. If you've been coming to church, you've been using this one to check your family in, but most of the time when you're registering, you're gonna go to the events one. Okay, and so right now you can see all that's on there is fall kickoff for students. If you haven't registered your student for that yet, by the way, go ahead and do that. It's been open for a couple of days now, but you can go do it. Obviously it's free, but it just keeps us under the 1:30 cap on Wednesday nights and lets us know who's coming, so we can verify, check in, and all those kind of things. But Sunday mornings will be registering right on there too. It'll just say get student classes, and so you can register your student. And then anyone, if it's filled up, obviously you can encourage your student to join us on Zoom or come to main service, be a part of that. So what to expect on Sunday mornings would be an activity, a Bible lesson, and discussion time. We'll be using this semester, we'll be using the Kingstone Bible to work through our lessons from Right Now Media. I'll share a link to that right now in the chat. So if you're wondering what the Kingstone Bible is, you can check it out right there on Right Now Media. If you don't have a subscription for your family to Right Now Media, let me know. I can set that up for you right away this week. It's an awesome thing, like Christian Netflix full of Bible studies, programs, and different things for marriages, for kids, students, just really across the board. But that's the one we'll be using on Sunday mornings for now. Right now, we'll be meeting in one class in the main room. I'll be teaching most of the lessons. We'll pull in our teachers in different ways whenever they can and desire to. And then we will hopefully, as we continue to move through, be able to return to some normalcy and maybe be able to break them back into their classrooms. Eventually, once that cap raises, it's going to be able to help us utilize our classrooms a little bit more. But until then, we really can only put 4 or 5 students technically in those classrooms. And so they're not super useful yet. But that's what Sunday mornings will look like. I am going to talk about Wednesday nights, but I figure this is a good chance to go ahead and ask if there are any questions about Sunday mornings for students this fall. Okay. Well, if you have some that develop, let me know. But like I said, I'm excited to meet with students again on Sundays. Wednesday nights. So Wednesday nights are our big, really big sort of outreach program for students. We just call it youth group. but it is the time that we meet for 6th through 12th grade ministry. And we have gender and grade specific small groups, and we have worship and a message and games, and we get loud, we get messy sometimes. Wednesday night's sort of the night where we're licensed to get a little bit louder, have a little bit, let loose a little bit more. And so we have a lot of fun with it. This semester, we are going to be able to meet in person in the gym for youth group on Wednesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. That is going to be registration based. There's a fall kickoff this coming Wednesday. I know Sunday, this morning, if you watch service in the announcement video, said students will be meeting on the 9th. We will be, but we'll also be meeting this Wednesday, the 2nd. That will be our fall kickoff. And so we're going to have some awesome things here for students. We're going to have some giveaways. We got some brand new student t-shirts that have been designed that we'll give away a few of those, but those will be on sale this semester. And I think we'll sell for about $10 each. We'll have Kona Ice will actually be back. We'll have Kona Ice back. We'll have some inflatable things like a giant Connect 4 basketball shoot thing, giant soccer darts. We'll also have a dunk tank on the premises for our kickoff. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some really special giveaways and different things for the fall kickoff for students. Our worship pastor, Brian San Maria, is going to lead us in worship for the first week of youth group. And then we have some awesome worship leaders lined up all September long, some guest ones that are coming in and helping lead us in worship. It's going to be really cool. So looking forward to that as well. But that's this Wednesday night. So if you haven't gotten registered for that yet, try to go ahead and do that. We will look forward to seeing your students at youth group. Now our cap is 130 for Wednesday nights. So, on our biggest nights, aside from event nights like the lock-in and the kickoff and things like that, we've reached 86 students, not counting leaders, and we have about 20 leaders. So that was about 106 people we've had max on a Wednesday night before. But those aren't our numbers typically. Typically, student-wise, we have about 57 average last year, 62 the year before that. We saw the average dip a little bit because of COVID in the spring. That really affected our numbers. Obviously. But so what I'm saying is there is room for your students to invite their friends, and that's really exciting because that cap is high enough for us to meet in the gym and invite friends. One of the stipulations is, yes, registering, is social distance, yes, is wearing a mask while inside the building, absolutely yes, and also is for students to sit in their households, okay? Households means those that live within the walls of your home. So let me give the reason for that rule, and then we can talk about it a little bit. The reason for that rule is we wanted to reflect Sunday mornings in as much as we possibly could for our Wednesday night youth group meeting. And a lot of times, because of the nature of registration, families sit together on Sunday mornings, like households sit together. And so we wanted to reflect that and keep students safe and healthy and be able to remain in a position where we can continue to meet, because obviously we don't want to lose that privilege and that opportunity to meet together physically. So we want to do our best to honor health and safety guidelines. With that being said, if there is a student that invites a friend or a student that has a cousin and both sets of parents let me or the small group leader know that, hey, these two are fine sitting together, then that could be something we can talk about for sure. But our general rule will be households sit together, and that will just help us to keep it a safer place for everybody. But I had several students reaching out to me after they had been made aware of that rule and then like, hey, if I invite a friend, they can't sit with me. It's possible that they can. We just need to get approval, make sure that we're honoring everyone's comfort level in that as well. Obviously, as we're called to be aware of one another as Christians, as Christ followers, and be concerned for one another. We want to reflect that. So that's what Wednesday nights will look like. On Wednesday nights, we will not serve meals regularly for students. So encourage them to try to get a bite before they come. If they do bring food in the building with them, when they get sat down at their table, they can be able to sit down and eat it with their mask off, but they'll need to put their mask right back on. We encourage them to try to eat before they come. There might be a night or two this fall semester where we have a special treat. Like obviously this Wednesday we're doing Kona Ice. There might be other things that we do that are special treats throughout the semester, but we will not be feeding full meals to our students this semester on Wednesday nights. So keep that in mind as you're planning, Wednesday nights for your family. And you might be wondering if you live, I know we have some families that live all the way out in High Ridge or even in Fenton or whatever it might be. We live in Florissant, it's a 25-minute drive. Not on Wednesday afternoon, it's more like a 35-minute drive. If fortunately, I'm usually here before the afternoon. But you might be wondering, like, do I need to go back home between 6 and 8, between drop-off and pickup time? Or is there something I can do? There's a couple of things. One, you can wait in our parking lot. We're not necessarily allowing anyone to just kind of hang out inside the building and fellowship in that way on Wednesday nights. But we are allowing anyone who wants to, obviously, to sit in the parking lot and wait. That's an option. That's not appealing to you, which I understand. If you don't have like an Audible to listen to or whatever, or a good book to read, then you can. There are some limited options for adult classes meeting in the building, and you can learn what those classes are by an email that the office sent out this week, or contacting Pastor John Bollinger. And here's his email. And he will let you know what those classes are for adults that are meeting in person on campus on Wednesday nights. Again, those will be limited capacity. So it could be you get in that room and the teacher says, okay, we're full up. And that's kind of just the nature of things right now. But that would be another option for parents that are dropping out their students on Wednesday nights for what you can do until pickup time. And basically the registration for Wednesday nights won't open until Monday. Most of the time, I know this one was open earlier, but that's because of the fall kickoff. On Monday, we'll open up youth group registration because we don't want to butt heads with and cross lanes necessarily. Butt heads might not be the right terminology. Cross lanes necessarily with the weekend registration. We want to kind of separate those things. So Monday, each week, the youth group for that week, that registration will open up on Monday. Okay. And so just make sure you're on the lookout for those links that come out via text, email, post on Facebook. Obviously, we'll post on Instagram too, but we know we reach more parents when we post on Facebook. And so be on the lookout for those things. Students could register themselves. So you can have them download the app on their smartphones, and then they can be responsible for registering themselves. I don't think that's too much to ask of our teenagers if they have a smartphone. But that's when it'll open each week. And like I said, basically how to register is right there on the Church Center app. So are there any questions about Wednesday nights this fall? Wednesday night youth group this fall. Also, Carrie, welcome. Thanks for joining us for the Parent Connection. So excited. But are there any questions about the fall semester for students on Wednesday nights? One thing I didn't really mention is we do have, and I did say this, we have small groups. We are going to, for small group time, it really is one of the most important parts of our ministry because it's where students get to dig in, get to ask questions, get to really dialogue about difficult things that might be happening or difficult things they're processing in their faith, whatever it might be. Small groups will be able to meet still this semester. So we have an awesome team of leaders that are coming together to help us accomplish that. Some that are returning, some brand new that I'm really excited about. And they will be able to meet by spreading out in the gym, finding a spot there. And also some of our much smaller small groups will be able to utilize some of the spaces we have upstairs for students. Otherwise, early in the fall, they can meet outside the building after the message is over until it gets cold and too dark. But that's an option, and that's kind of what we're doing for small groups. There might be a small group leader that tries to organize something at their home or at a park or restaurant. Obviously, according to the child protection policy and just the way that our philosophy of ministry, the way we do ministry, those small group leaders are going to be reaching out to you if they're trying to plan those kind of things because you're very important partners, obviously, in us being able to accomplish good to be able to accomplish discipleship in our students' lives. So, will there be any opportunities for students to be involved in youth group praise band and other leadership opportunities? It's a great question. Great question, Carrie. So yes, yes. So right now we're kind of revamping some of the student praise band approach and philosophy, and so be on the lookout for more information about that. I would say in October. I know that might be a little further off than a lot of our families were hoping for, but there are some things that we're praying through and that we have in the works that we're trying to figure out how to move forward in the best way. And we feel like we have a plan. We're just not ready to announce that yet. And so it's moving in a great direction. I want to share my heart. My heart is that the student praise band is incredible. I think it's awesome that we have talented students that want to use their talents for the kingdom, and especially in such an awesome way. And we've had it for it goes all the way back to Pastor Carl, as far as I know, whenever he was the youth pastor here at Gateway, so years and years ago. I want to see that continue. If I have anything to contribute to that, say about that, I'm not going to let that just kind of pass away. And so we want to continue that tradition for sure. And we have a plan. We got some things in the works, some irons in the fire with it. We're just trying to move forward in the best way possible. That will be even more fruitful than it has been in the past, which is saying a lot. So other leadership opportunities, there is Momentum this semester. Momentum is our student leadership group. We'll be doing training for that soon in September, and the last part of September, early part of October. And that will be a chance, obviously, for students to be invested in. I spend a lot of time with our Momentum students. Some of you know that because you've had students that have went through that with me. Just pouring into them, investing in them, trying to support them as leaders in different ways they're doing it in school, youth group, their families, communities, where they're working, whatever it might be. We have some students that are serving as small group leaders in our middle school ministry this semester, and as teachers, students that are part of Momentum and are in high school. Specifically, if they want to work in middle school ministry, they need to be a junior or a senior. Otherwise, they can serve in the kids ministry, but you don't have to be in Momentum to do that. And so those are some leadership opportunities. Obviously, any student, as long as they work through Pastor Sherry, can work in the kids ministry. As that opens back up, there might be some opportunities there. I would just encourage you to reach out to Pastor Sherry to find out what those opportunities might be. Other leadership opportunities, there will be, the tech booth. We will have needs there. We're trying to gauge what that's going to look like. We've run youth group in person. We've run live stream youth group on Youth Group Live. We've never run youth group in person and youth group live, so at the same time. So we're trying to figure out what that's going to look like as far as how many jobs are going to need filled back there, and then how much training a student would need to be in the booth downstairs, because obviously that's where we'll be meeting. Usually we're in our booth upstairs. It's a little less involved. Probably about 33% of the 100% that you would encounter downstairs. And so we're trying to figure out how much training they would need to be involved downstairs in the booth. But off the top of my head, those are some leadership opportunities. I'll send out, as we move through September, I'll send out a reminder that, hey, Momentum training is coming up. If you're considering it and you're in high school, here's sort of what Momentum is and the opportunities that it creates for you. And then we'll talk about, I was saying, like I said, in October, probably we'll roll out our plan for the praise band for students. And then at the same time, probably we'll roll out a stronger plan for students serving the tech booth as well. Does that answer your question? Or do you have anything more specific that I didn't hit on? Cool. Love it. Cool. Any other questions about Wednesday nights this semester? Okay. So, you'll see whenever you register for Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, you'll see a confirmation email. In that will be a link to our health and safety guidelines for students, especially on Wednesday nights this semester. Whenever you register, you can look over those things. Some of you maybe already did. It's in the second part of that link that I sent to you, the first link I sent in the group chat. And it has some student-specific things in there. But anytime you guys have questions or concerns or even disagreements with how we're kind of approaching things, those are conversations that I want to have. I do want to have with you because I value your insight, your opinion, your partnership, and so and your support. So make sure you ask, but look over those things as you register. And the better that we can honor the health and safety guidelines this semester, the better chance that we'll be able to continue to move forward and grow and see these numbers continue to decrease and hopefully move into phase 3 of our relaunch plan at Gateway, and then things really begin to open up, which is exciting. Okay, so here are a few things. This semester in youth group on Wednesday nights, we will be moving through some curriculum together. I did prepare a series guide for you all, and so I'll put a link to that in the group chat right now. So that's the link to the series guide this semester. Really excited about the sermons we're going to be working through together. We're going to start with a 3-week series on influence. That won't start till the 9th. Obviously this Wednesday we're going to deal with some other stuff with gathering back together and going over some things, but we'll dig into our first sermon this Wednesday night or September 9th, that Wednesday, on a series called just a series on influence. Really excited about that. Then we're going to move to a series after that, a 3-week series called on comparison, and the poisonous nature of that. And then we're going to move into a 1-week conversation. We do these 1-week conversations sometimes on things that the students really are relevantly dealing with in the moment. And this one, we're going to talk about something that students love to do, and that is arguing. And so we're going to talk about how to win an argument, but really, the catch is you never win an argument if you lose the relationship. So we're going to talk about that from the book of James. Really excited about that. And then we'll do a series just on the Bible, sort of what the Bible is, why do we trust it, how do we understand it. We'll spend a couple weeks there, and then we'll finish the semester in the first 2 weeks of December with a series on Christmas. And so the fall semester will go from this Wednesday, September 2nd, through December 11th. If I got that right, December 9th. It will go through December 9th. And so we know that once after Thanksgiving, we might see students traveling and different things. We like to offer those 2 Wednesdays in December just for the students that still want to take advantage of that. And so we will meet those 2 first Wednesdays in December. And then we will meet on the 16th as well for a party. If all goes well, we'll have a Christmas party on December 16th. Be looking forward to that. A couple of things that are happening this fall that where we won't have a normal Wednesday would be September 23rd. We're having a Feed My Starving Children celebration as a church family. So we'll do something differently that week. More information to come. And then also October 28th, we'll be doing something differently for the Fall Family Fall Fun Fest. So we won't meet for regular youth group. We will meet. There's still some plans to work out there. Obviously, that isn't unilaterally decided by me, but we as a staff team will work together to figure out sort of how we're going to approach the Family Fall Fun Fest and what are some creative things we can do. But it'll look a little bit differently on that Wednesday as well. And so if you were doing the math on how many weeks series and different things, we left out those couple of Wednesdays for those reasons. So, but that's what the series will look like. So excited about that. Another thing to fill out every school year, we ask as we approach events. This isn't registration for specific events. This is a release form that releases us for media liability, medical liability for students, communication liability, so that we can reach out to students, so we can take pictures at events and post them on Instagram and Facebook, and so that we can, if God forbid, a student were to get hurt at an event of ours, we would have permission to take them to the hospital and help them. And so if you have not filled out a new student release form for your student this semester yet, I'll encourage you to do that. I'll drop that link here in just a second. Because we do that based on school year. So this one will say 2020, 2021 student release form. And so if you guys could fill out a new one of those for us, that will get you ahead of the game. You could wait until we have our first event, first big event. That is an overnighter. And then you could just fill it out then. But if you want to get ahead of the curve a little bit, a lot of our sixth grade parents, we had our sixth grade on-ramp about a week and a half ago. A lot of them filled it out, got ahead of the game. So if you want to do that, you can. Just take you a second. Okay, it'll take you more like 5 minutes, but 5 minutes out of your day hopefully isn't too much. I know you're filling out a lot of other things right now too, so feel for you. And if you want to wait until our first event, that's totally fine. But there's that link, so you can do that whenever you want. That link's always also available on our website. And so that's something to be thinking about. And then fall events, other than Feed My Starving Children celebration and Family Fall Fun Fest, normally we do a fall lock-in. Right now, we're kind of operating like that's not going to be able to happen. That has grown and grown and grown over the past 4 years. This will be our 5th annual fall lock-in. It was scheduled to have about 7 churches at it. Last year we had 150 students. I have to go back and look. I think it might have been approaching 200 students. This year, it was very possible we're going to have more than that. And so it's looking like we're not going to be able to do that. And so we're trying to think creatively about some different things we can do fall event-wise, like worship nights, retreats, like maybe a multi-site retreat, different things, movie nights, different things that we can do creatively for students outside, indoors, but in a pared down way. And so if you have ideas, I am always open to ideas. As you know, in our youth pastor community, different youth pastor colleagues that I have and know, we share ideas and different things. But right now we're all still swimming in sort of new waters as we continue to move through this. And so if you guys have ideas for events that we can be creative with, I can't guarantee that we'll be able to do them, but I'm always willing to brainstorm with you guys. And so if there's a location like you have, per se, maybe you have a home that you're like, hey, we have a big home, we have a pool, all these kind of things. We could have some students over and do some different things. Or you maybe have a farm or whatever it might be, where you could do like a fishing day or I am open to those opportunities, those possibilities. And so if you have ideas, let me know. You can let me know in the chat. You can speak up now, or you can email me later, text me later. And always open to those possibilities for sure. Obviously we're limited here. We're doing a lot of activities outside, bigger activities. But there are some things that we don't have here that we could, maybe utilize in some other locations. So if you have ideas, send them my way. A couple of things to be aware of for this spring would be, one, the CIY Believe tour. So last year we didn't go to CIY Believe because Believe moved to Bloomington, Illinois. And that's just a little too far for us to be able to allow our students our middle school students. By the way, Believe is a middle school weekend event put on by CIY that happens during the school year. And they moved to Bloomington. So we would have had to ask our students to leave school early to get there in time. And that's something that we don't necessarily want to do. We don't want to put that kind of pressure on our students or our families. And so we put Florissant and a few other churches in partnership with us. We put on a middle school conference last year. I'm not sure if that's going to happen again or not, but if it does, that's what we'd be a part of. And so that would be at the end of February. But Believe, CIY has canceled its Believe tour for this coming year. So Believe's not even happening because of COVID. And then other things. So we usually do a high school retreat in the spring. If things have lifted enough, we will go out to High Hill for our high school retreat at the end of March. In the spring, we'll be excited about that. This spring is a year every other year we engage our students in a conversation about sexual integrity. We believe that that is an important conversation to engage them in for so many reasons. One, obviously Jesus doesn't leave out discussions about relationship. in the New Testament. We see those things happen, and we also know that the world doesn't leave our students out of discussions and conversations about relationship and sexual identity and sexual integrity. And so we want to engage them in that conversation and be a part of that conversation. We want to equip you to be a part of that conversation at such a pivotal time in a kid's life. And so we will have options for students to opt out. The high school sexual integrity talk would happen at the retreat. And so for them to opt out, they would just choose to not go to the retreat. And then for middle schoolers, it would happen on Wednesday nights during our normal youth group messages, because middle school and high school learn different, separately, separate messages. But we always strive to offer an alternative message or lesson, like Bible study time, for those students whose families feel like they're just not quite ready for that conversation. And so if that's you, that's something that we totally support and want to reinforce our families in that way, reinforce you as a parent in that way. And so we offer that as an alternative for our middle school students as we move towards that. So 2021 would be a year to have those conversations for us in our ministry, our plan. And so that's something to be aware of as we move towards the spring later on as well. We'll revisit that conversation. You'll get all the resources and information about that at the Parent Connection in January. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's basically it as far as what I wanted to share with you all today. Obviously a few reminders of ways to stay connected. Our website, our student website, always has some good stuff on it. And so Keenan Shad does a great job keeping it up. And so that's our website, gccsdl.org/students. Visit there if you want to learn some things that we have coming up. Facebook, you can find us at, if you don't follow us yet, which I think probably most of you that I have on here right now do, you can find us at Gateway SDL Students. Instagram for your students, if they're wanting to follow us. You can find us at GCC Stuman. We put a lot of reminders and posts and different things on there. If we have an event going on, it's usually on our Instagram story. So if your parents are like wondering how to follow an event, get on Instagram, follow us, check out our story. We usually have lots of stuff going on there during camp weeks or the lock-in, whatever it might be. You can also subscribe to our Remind text service. If you don't get our text messages specifically from the student ministry, all you have to do is text this number, 81010, to, well, I did it backwards, but you text at GCC Stuman to the number 81010. If you do that, then it'll probably ask you to put your name in, and then you'll start getting our text messages that come out real time. Like this morning, we sent a reminder about this Parent Connection. I also send emails. If you haven't been getting emails from the student ministry, let me know so I can get you in the database, get you on that list on Planning Center that gets those emails. And also, I'm about halfway through the parent newsletter, which I haven't done. I'm like in the open monologue or opening writing piece for the parent newsletter. I kind of write a little bit about, like, man, I've missed writing this. And so I'm excited to get back into it because I haven't written a parent newsletter since March. And so about halfway through the one for September, it'll have the link to this meeting in it and different things, lots of really good information specifically for parents or students here at Gateway. And so that'll come out next week sometime. So be on the lookout for the parent newsletter. Those are sort of the main ways to stay connected to the student ministry. Make sure you're informed so that you never feel like, well, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know how to get registered. We want to make sure that we supply those resources, the answers to those questions. And so, like I said, this meeting will be uploaded after we're done. And you'll be able to share it with parents that weren't able to come or friends who you've been inviting them to church and they have teenagers, whatever it might be. And so thanks everyone for being here. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you so much for the encouragement, Ms. Carrie and Pastor Carl. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Are there any questions? Okay, I'll keep my eye on the chat as we close out. But again, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for your continued support of the student ministry and continued partnership. I want to be there for you. I want to connect you with the awesome small group leaders that we have and teachers that we have in our ministry to influence your teens and to help them, encourage them to take their next steps with Jesus, be disciples who make disciples. And so that's it. 118, under an hour. Nice. Enjoy your afternoon, parents, and reach out to me. I'm here for you if you need answers to questions or you just need anything at all. Let me know. So we'll see you guys soon. Get registered for the fall kickoff this Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. It's right there on the Church Center app. Bye, everybody. Let's see. Last one, Abby.